Hi everyone, this is Balazs from RacingBrick. You could already see all these amazing 2023 Speed Champions releases on the channel. Link to the playlist is in the top right corner as usual if you missed any of them. But there was one box I couldn't review yet until today. This is the 76918 McLaren Solus GT and McLaren F1 LM. You can see both cars on a rainy racetrack. This is the UK after all, so that's the default weather there. On the back of the box we get a rear view of both models, some details in the bottom row, and the original cars at the right. Let's open the box. The set has 581 pieces, the price is $35 or 45 euros. That's a remarkable difference as it means that today you pay almost 27% less in the US for the same set. The release date is the 1st of March. There are 4 numbered bags in the box, 2 manuals, 2 relatively small sticker sheets, and a separate chassis piece. You can't figure out from here which one should you pick up first, but if you want to follow the numbering, then it will be the Solus GT. Here's the part list if you are interested. Now let's start building. The core of the chassis is a wheelbase used sideways. We could already see something similar in the Aston Martin Valkyrie AMR Pro last year, and there are quite a few Technic pieces involved. This special new piece introduced with this Speed Champions wave is included here as well. If you want to hear Chris Stam, the lead designer of the theme, talking about it, then I suggest watching the linked video. The structure is still pretty unconventional, and we keep attaching weird pieces to different jumper plates. We got quite a few offset attachments as well, and these weird rounded jumper plates keep popping up. The new lowered wheel arch pieces are used in this build as well, and here are the first of the few stickers to apply. Tiny wing panels attached by clips to follow the lines of those slopes, then the front of the car takes shape and we add the wheel arches there as well. Smoothing the surfaces with some tiles, and here's a quite unusual assembly with this black pneumatic connector piece. This thing has to go in that new piece, forming the panel behind the front wheel. These weird looking quarter dome pieces should be definitely new in white as I couldn't find them based on their ID, but I'm not sure where they appeared previously. One thing for sure, their curvature matches these arch pieces. A few more things added, and we are at the end of bag 1. Bag 2 begins with the rear diffuser, and I found a strange anomaly with this sticker. I think the red dots of that light are much more prominent in the manual and on the box art as well, meanwhile they are barely visible on the sticker itself. The assembly becomes the diffuser, by the way. It goes in place like this. This one is also a new piece for 2023, although it was not requested by the Speed Champions team, but as you see they happily use it. Now check this out. These 2 layered assemblies are positioned sideways. Here comes this rod that goes all the way through as every piece has hollow studs there purposefully. That propeller blade piece goes in between them and the whole assembly is attached to the body and it sits at a very weird angle. Then we cover up the wheel arches, add this massive rear wing, and we use yet another funky building solution with that claw piece to attach that body panel at a specific angle. Here are 2 brand new parts from this set. These 1x5 slopes are introduced to improve the shoulders of the car. The end is cut at a 45-degree angle to make the corner tiles fit, and there's an attachment point at the front. This is how they are used here, matching perfectly the angle of that central assembly while also fitting with the wide tiles. And we still have that small fin sticking out in the center. Perfection. The steering wheel is a game controller. Well, of course, this is a game car after all. And the close support method is used again here. And here is the front assembly with the 2 printed wedge plates. And it is held in place by clips again. Oops. Yeah, those side panels are not well secured in place, unfortunately. I need to find the proper angle for this one. There you go. 2 more wedge plates to add, then comes the new narrow rounded canopy piece with prints on the small edges on the sides, another 2023 innovation we could see on other sets as well. Now we only need to add the wheels and this one is finished. Now let's see the third bag and the McLaren F1. This one begins with a new chassis piece and not just that, other new parts are heavily used as well. Now I'm not sure what will happen here, but it seems to be an awfully specific setup to create some toggle-like attachment points. Interestingly, these are the old-style wheel arch pieces in orange. Here's what to use if you need studs on top but anti-studs on the rear, just to be able to add this assembly. Quite special 1x8 plates with printed edges, then some binoculars, quickly becoming exhaust pipes as this whole assembly is attached upside down to the main one. We add the first sticker, and the rear lights also go in place. Covering this section with tiles, that bracket is only attached at the top but it fits perfectly. Everything is nice and tidy here. Okay, hands up folks, who expected such Technic assembly in this car? I didn't for sure. It gets covered quickly, then comes a pretty cool part selection for the doors, and check out this ingenious way of securing them at the other end. The Speed Champions designers never stop to amaze me. And I'm sure you were wondering, will it happen? Did they take advantage of the new chassis? Can it be done properly? Did they manage to squeeze in the proper seat configuration with the driver's seat in the middle and two at the rear? Well, yes and no. Yes, we have the driver's seat and the steering wheel in the middle, we even have a gear shifter, and there are two seats at the rear. But no, the mission is not fully accomplished, as a standard minifigure with the two arms is wider than two studs, so it won't fit here. But still, I think it is a remarkable job, I'm definitely impressed, and we are at the end of Back 3 by the way. As I see, we will finally use those toe balls added at the beginning. This assembly should go there. Wow, it requires a significant amount of force to snap in place. So, here's the rear of the cabin sitting at the perfect angle, and now we need to add a few uncomfortably tiny stickers to these pieces. The new 1x5 slopes appear here as well, this time in orange. We add the 1x1 plate to the front, and as you see, that 45-degree cutout is a perfect match to those corner tiles. We get a very nice and smooth surface. Building that iconic side profile, the magic component will be this minifigure pedal headpiece, new in orange, then the slightly angled shoulder line attached to that Technic pin. The rear view mirror seems to be floating on that transparent piece by the way. Oh, wow, that's a printed 1x4. That one does not belong here for sure. Better pay attention to this, otherwise you will have a hard time finding it towards the end of the build. Yet another funky hinged assembly with a Technic core. It goes here in front of the steering wheel. This is the assembly of the splitter at the front, and check out how that hook piece is used as a spacer to set the required distance between the two assemblies. The smaller old school wheel arches are also used, and now it's time to use that printed 1x4 plate and some tiny stickers again, together with this cleverly used hollow 2-plate high 1x1s, and suddenly we have an awesome snot assembly forming the front of the car with the brick-built headlights, and it snaps in place right here. We need to fill these gaps, and if you were worried about the stability at the front, those parts lock the whole thing in place firmly. Now comes the rear wing, then the canopy piece with nice prints everywhere, including that small side section as well of course. It goes in place, and all we have to do is to add the wheels that have two specialties. First of all, these are the old school separate rims and tires, and the rarely used 5-spoke wheel covers are added, and we are finished. Let's not forget the drivers. We get one in a racing suit with printed legs, the other guy is more casual with his McLaren branded hoodie, and they both fit in their cars of course. So here are the two cars side by side, and I have to say they really look amazing. The Solus GT is the first ever video game inspired Speed Champions car. It first appeared in Gran Turismo Sport in 2017, but it was still called the Ultimate Vision Gran Turismo back then. After a few tweaks and changes, McLaren decided to make it real. There will be only 25 samples built, so I think the LEGO version is a wiser choice to get. If you think it looks bigger than the F1, then you are right. This car is actually 9 studs wide. Why? Because the real McLaren Solus GT is also wider than the F1, and the designers wanted to keep the proportions. I'm still amazed by the building solutions here at the rear, forming this slope with the small fin sticking out, and it has a great look from this perspective as well. These lights already appeared in another McLaren by the way, the 6-stud wide Senna. I think we don't need to explain why going 8 or actually 9 wide in this case was a very wise choice. The car at the end is more solid than I expected. These panels here in front of the rear wheels move a bit. The Achilles heel of the build is here behind the front wheels. These panels fall off very easily if you try to grab the car there. The driver really needs to lean back and the steering wheel needs to be folded up and down when he gets in. And before anyone starts to complain, the tiny gap here is not caused by the driver or the helmet, it is there thanks to the single front attachment points of the canopy piece and how other parts are pushing it slightly upwards. Now let's see the F1 LM. The McLaren F1, which once was the world's fastest production car, is a true automotive icon, just like the Lamborghini Countach. This, however, is not that boring mass-produced version that has more than 100 samples. This is the F1 LM, the track-oriented iteration of the car built to honor the massive win of McLaren F1 GTRs at the 1995 Le Mans 24-hour race. Only 5 of these exist, plus a prototype, all built in papaya orange as a tribute to Bruce McLaren's race color. Bonus points for LEGO as they totally nailed the rims this time. I have to confess that I'm absolutely in love with this model. It is full of brilliant building solutions, it looks awesome from every possible angle, it is a solid build, has the iconic seat configuration, what else would we need? Okay, I know, the 2 additional seats are not fully functional, but babies and also baby Yodas fit there, and they will be fully entertained by the knob on the gear shifter for sure. The other weak points I found are the sides here. They have the proper angle by default and they don't move when you grab the car by the sides, but if you only touch those sections then they can move up and down. It is definitely not the end of the world, but I had to mention it for the sake of clarity. So let's sum it up. Double packs are tough to evaluate as one of the cars almost always feels like an unnecessary extra, and yeah, this time it is the Solus GT for sure. It is not as iconic or exciting as the F1 LM, but I think it has some pretty interesting building techniques squeezed in for compensation. I'm sure a lot of people would prefer to buy this one separately, but they do look great together, both offer a nice building experience, so I can definitely suggest this set to every Speed Champions fan or practically to anyone who likes cars and wants to have a great building experience. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, folks. If you like this video then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe with notifications as more exciting LEGO videos are coming soon. See you next time, bye bye.